The Surfing Violinist presents Miraculously Consistent, Surf Log 30. So in June of 2023, we had some of the most consistent summer surf we've had in recent memory. It started out on June 1st. This is footage from that day. I took out a plastic board from Mark Santoli, swapped some waves with Josh near the county pier. This plastic board's crazy. It would actually go underwater and pop. You'd pearl and the whole thing would pop right back out. I was trying to do some shooting the pier with Cody Johnson and Josh, and every now and then it was almost successful. I did not have a GoPro mouth mount at this point, and so I actually was just biting the regular float. What do they have a name for this thing? It's like the little hand grip that's kind of soft, and so I was just biting that kind of like a pirate with a knife in my mouth, and so the angle's real weird, and you get more than your fair share of treatment of my strange akimbo left arm that I notice more and more looking at this footage. Water was beautiful that day. This was a little bit of a groundswell. It just didn't have much size, and the power was just difficult. I finally did shoot the pier one time. There was another little right on the east side, but yeah, looking at this, I'm noticing that chimp arm that I'm doing a lot with my lead arm. My left arm, especially going through this footage from June, I noticed it skating and surfing. I do this weird thing, so plenty to work on. There you can see it right there. It's kind of like between chimp and T-Rex or Velociraptor. Further down the beach, closer towards the condo over there, further east, there was a left reeling off towards the pier, and Warren and Rob Stalvey were on it, and really making it work on smaller boards. Really found some fun ones over there. And then we started getting small waves for a couple days, and then it started filling in. June 15th is when we first started getting our good run of real waves. There was 12 days in a row of rideable surf, but on the 15th was out at the state park. I guess it was after work, it looks like, or maybe a little bit later in the day, and I just could not get my feet under me. I just kept falling on all the first few rides of the day. 3 in a row. I don't know what happened. I couldn't even make a drop. And then I started getting work on some sprays, and really the goal looking through this footage is to try to notice style problems that I'm still having, or placement of my board in order to get more speed. I've been noticing, going back and looking at footage from the last few months, of just not really getting bottom turns in the right spot, not utilizing bottom turns and mid-face turns for speed generation, and then just, misplacing my top turns in sections where there's really nothing to push against and just falling on my butt. But the 15th was kind of the beginning of this run of surf that we would have. The next day was with Mike Wynn at, this would have been the 18th, and we were at City Pier, real glassy that day, and this was kind of a salvo of 3 or 4 or 5 City Pier days that were just clean and fun. So me and Mike had it to ourselves to start on the 18th, and then people started showing up, and it got to be a pretty fun one. They weren't huge or anything, but the City Pier was just providing enough power, enough push, even on the smaller waves, to rib high waves, to get a little cover up, or to find some turns. So Mike got more than his fair share. It was fun just trading off with him for a while. And, whatever the situation with our surf, I have really, especially in 2024, since I've been paddling every morning, I've really begun to appreciate just the beauty of surfing anywhere. But our place is pretty special, man. When the watercolor, it's not so great on this particular day, but when the watercolor cooperates, just get some really great views. Here's Mike getting guillotined. He was having a good time. He really liked that clip. Proof of commitment. But yeah, again, just the sunrises on a glassy day. There's just nothing like it. Jim cannot compete, so even though in January and February it's been pretty miserable doing paddles, at least for thin-skinned Floridian, I look forward to days like this when it's going to be nice and warm, and it's just going to look so beautiful. And I will be hopefully in better paddle shape to be able to appreciate it. That shot right there was Sterling Foster. He used that in some promo pics. He ended up getting the best waves of the day for sure. Tyler probably number 2, and then me maybe number 3, I guess. So yeah, this was on, let me make sure about that. This was also on June 18th. So yeah, so it ended up getting even a little bit bigger after Morning Sickness got off it, and Sterling Foster and Tyler Poole especially were finding some real good ones. Ryan Ivey was out there. We had a little lineup for him. I think this was my day off, and so I had a little more time. And yeah, I blew that turn too. Here's Ryan Ivey. Little hard to squeeze your board in on some of these. They just don't give you much room to move, even when they do give you the push. I had a lot of views, not many makes. If I did have a make, it was more of a head dip make. But and one of the things I really want to work on in 2024 is you'll see most of my turns, I'm really not properly cut backing. They're almost always laybacks, but they're not laybacks that preserve speed. They're laybacks that you just kind of fall back and you don't even really make it. It's not really a completed maneuver. My backside surfing, you could see that akimbo left arm thing that I keep doing where it's like I invert my arm. It's like a setup thing that I do unconsciously where I turn my fist towards the ground. It's almost like I'm punching down. Maybe it's some sort of sublimated Napoleon complex that I didn't realize I have. I'm punching down before every maneuver. So there's Foster. Oh yeah, that counts that's a full tube as far as we're concerned. But yeah, this was a particularly fun day, and making me happy to see the warm air. Looking forward to a little bit of that. It's really not that cold anymore in February, but it still feels cold to us Floridians. And this is footage from, let's see, is this the next day? This is June 19th on the west side of City Pier. I think I was going to do some riding at Panera Bread or something, and I got a call from somebody. And this little ride towards the pier was just so fun, just tailor-made for this, for my miscellaneous and my surfing ability at that moment. It would just give you a nice little runner section where you could set up for a turn or two. And I almost was doing better about connecting them. Still not completing most of my rides, getting a spray, but not necessarily. It wouldn't be like the best scoring if this were competitive surfing. But just I remember having a ton of fun that day. And getting a bit better on the timing and placement of maneuvers, but still, work to be done, of course. But you can see, the location of the GoPro, my head is almost always facing down the line. Even when I'm doing a turn, I'm still looking down the line. I'm looking at my spray. It's just not proper form. I don't even get it around on that one. It's always kind of more of a layback scenario. I'm so skim focused in the way that I think of my turns. This was one of the best feeling ones, but once again, I did not get a change in trajectory. I'm still facing forward. On this one, I got a little bit more of a torque looking back. So I've got to start doing this more often. They say your legs follow your shoulders and your head, so I need to be turning around more on my cutbacks.
Bill Lewis. No Lewis clown. Woohoo! Perfect wax call. Oh, you'll make it out. No problem. No problem. You got it. I like the color on that.
According to my notes, this was the same day. Later in the day, me and Tate went down to the state park, and the noodle body was starting to set in. I actually did the paddle of shame at some point towards the end of the session. I was just whooped, and it was one of those moments where the where our wind swell was just providing very short period between waves, between duck dives, and I was just starting to hyperventilate and kind of got rocked. It was quite embarrassing. Yeah, this is the, I think, turning back after that wave, and I couldn't make it back out, and I was just too tired to try. I just kept getting stuck in this one spot, and I was just on the hamster wheel, and I decided, well, I had my fun today, I guess. So, I mean, look, I'm like right there. How do I miss this? My duck dives were just not on point, and I just so yeah, it wouldn't even knock me off my board. I just called it quits. I remember being like, I was choking. Like, dude, this is like waist high. I'm choking. And then the humiliation rituals would continue. Next morning at City Pier, I paddled out, and it was a little disorganized, a lot of morning sickness, and really sucking out hard off of the little slabby sandbar right there next to the pier. And I was having, again, like some little mini panics, even though it wasn't that big, but it was probably the biggest that this run of swell had gotten. And I was just not like feeling comfortable making these takeoffs. I was just airdropping or pulling back. And sometimes they give you a little chip, but I just couldn't time it right. And I was getting pretty mad at myself. And of course Tyler showed up, and he kind of showed me the way. He was finding some corners, and if he wasn't finding corners, he was at least committing and getting a view before it closed out on him. But yeah, I had a rough time that morning, and so followed Tyler. He made the best of it, so I got to take some notes. I did get like a pocket ride or two, as I recall. Yeah, so I mean, it was, prep for future tube sessions. I've just got a lot of work to be done on the more dredgy kind of takeoffs. I'm taking too long to paddle, I think, and I'm not airdropping well. I'm not... sometimes the no paddle dropping on these type of waves actually works better, and there we go. I got a little bit of a pocket ride there. So there were waves to be had. Here's the Tyler from the beach. You see, I mean, a lot of them weren't really doing it, but he was always committed. And there's a good example of good takeoff there. I think I tried one more time, and I was just... the fatigue had gotten to me, too, for surfing that much. So again, in 2024, I'm really trying to get ahead of this so that my fatigue is not hitting me when we do happen to have a week of waves. Which is just, pretty unusual for us. I didn't even make that turn. Jeez. But City does continue to surprise me sometimes with its punch. Punch per face inch. Yeah, there's that left arm doing that thing. It's the Chewbacca wrist. The 21st was kind of a remix of the 18th. Very similar setup. Light wind, very glassy conditions at City Pier. Got there pretty early. And I think it was a little smaller, all told, than it was on the 18th. Sterling was out that morning, too. Got a couple good turns. And then this is County Pier. So this was in the afternoon of the 21st. I had to work that day, so I came back out to County Pier. And by then, wind had gotten on it. This was one of the weeks where the lifeguards were having a real hard time keeping people out of the water. And the rips were surprisingly bad, even though the waves weren't big. They had a lot of rescues this week. And I think it was leading up to the time where like 9 people drowned in the course of like 10 days. That right there is Eric Worley, surf rep. And he came up to visit the shop and then even got a surf in. And then went to the west side with Tate. The wind really turned on. Was blown into the pier. We got a lot of different kinds of surf sessions in this course of 10 days. It would be clean, it would be dumpy, and then it would be kind of mushy and victory at sea. So we got ran the whole gamut, and ran the gamut of size too, from knee to waist to a little to chest to head. So This is one, I think one of these, there was this little side chop that I got to bank off of and surf kind of sideways. There's a little right leading into the pier. If I'd have gotten this right, I could have had a floater that was totally perpendicular shore. That one felt good. And then on the 22nd, we went back to the city pier for another dog patrol, and this was another glassy day. It was nice and clean, and this was even smaller than the 21st or the 18th. But there's still a couple nuggets coming through, and Tyler was there. Ended up having just another great morning session. And once again, nice mirror reflection there in the water. Yeah, just looking at all this footage, I'm just seeing so much weird stuff with my left arm. But plenty to work on. Now I understand why in the football games they look at the tapes. Almost kind of, I at least turned it back to the beach on that turn. But yeah, I'm just not getting the rotation. I'm always kind of facing forward still. Oh, kind of a little turn there. Oh, actually, it's kind of a proper late left takeoff. Okay. I actually thought I was going to eat it. There's Tyler. Got off the south top for some turns. He found a couple nuggets, especially towards the end of the session.
So tell me what happened after I left the other day, after my Barrel Dodger Anonymous session.
It got really good. I had to go to work.
So right when you got to work, and who was getting the barrels while you were on the beach cursing?
Sterling is pulling into a couple. Must be nice.
Must be nice. Me and you, well, you know, we got the precursor.
Yeah,
I got a couple. Yeah.
I'm satisfied.
Yeah.
Just, you know, greedy and I want more.
It'll be also nice for the conditions to actually work according to our schedule.
Yeah.
Once in a while.
All right, it's a little bit of rotation there, and then I didn't complete the turn. And that would pretty much wrap up our run of June surf. So this is not footage from every day that we had surf, but pretty consistent for us. Miraculously so, you could almost say. Oh wait, no, there's one more session. Yeah, oh, man, I vaguely remember this day. I did get one little pocket ride. Yeah, right side of county, kind of doing it. There it is. Oh yeah, a little head dip. And no speed for the turn. Great. Oh, so this exact same thing. I think I joined Tate again this time on the west side of county when the wind started blowing it. And we actually found a few more fun waves over here too, so almost completed. Well there it is. That was a surfing in June of 2023. Miraculously consistent. And then when it started getting small, we went to skating. So we got a few sessions on June 27th with the Real Rippers. Stinky, Austin. Coleman ended up in the bowl. He was working on trying to get axles in the deep end. And then Austin and Stinky put on the show.
Watch how fast he is in the shallow one. Yo. Yeah. Yeah, dude.
way back forward. Dive.
I didn't know that was possible.
Oh yeah, dude.
The old timer, old man skate session, me and Ernie. And Ernie's working on backside slashes and carves. And yeah, we had a good little bit before the rest of the old timer showed up. I've noticed that issue with my left hand that I talked about surfing. I see myself doing it when I go up the waterfall skating sometimes. So I haven't noticed it yet. Somewhere around in here, I feel like. Okay, here it is. So I put it in slow-mo. So when I'm coming up, look what I do. I do that same thing where I torque my wrist up under my elbow. And I'm doing this like down punch thing. So it's showing its ugliness even in skating. There's Shelton. He was trying to grab over this hip here. Woo! There it is. I had to go back, get it one more time. Yes, sir. Well, that's it. Miraculously consistent with a little skate to boot. June 2023. Until next time, keep it consistent, even if the surf isn't. Godspeed, rippers in training. To see these videos early, without ads, join the lineup here on YouTube. You just need a YouTube account, and for $1.99 a month, you click this little join button and sign up to get early and ad-free access to 4 monthly vlogs: the surf vlog, the violin vlog, the Masala vlog, and the family vlog. Thank you very much.